All right, let me start. Let me press the record button. And how you doing, Dr. Death, in this wonderful new year 2024?
I am doing just fantastic.
Yeah,
So many exciting things to talk about.
so many exciting things, and that's why we should start off with our wonderful channel sponsor. You know and you love them, Aho Patchworks. Great patch merchant, they're like stat boosts whenever you put them on your plate carrier. It is a magnet for women, men. I don't know what the hell you guys are into, but it is a fantastic site. You all should just go there. Use coupon code /AGCast for 10% off. And you know what? Let's go on. I've been thinking about this now. Also, I don't know how we're going to title this. I probably have to do some sort of differentiation because all the other ones were just January. So I should probably put like January 2024. Well, this is just come to me right now. Oh God, my ADHD brain is kicking in. Oh well. This will be a fun intro. I can already sure we're starting off the year strong. But I guess let's go with a little bit. How have you been right now so far? How are things going right now with betas this new year?
Yeah, you know what? We're doing good. We have 3 betas to talk about. Some pretty exciting ones. We have a lot of releases right in the pipeline. One release that did come out was the FTN.3. Really excited about that. I'm sure you guys remember that. That's the incredibly strong suppressor.
Yeah, well, I was first going to mention this. I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier. Someone suggested this idea, and I really do like this idea of we'll also try to cover every release of the month too, which I guess that is the only release of this month right now too.
Yes. We're going to have a lot more next month.
Right. We'll either do that in the beginning or the end of everything. I think probably the end, but I guess this month will be a little bit different. We're still figuring it out. You guys leave a comment below of what you guys want to hear also, but we'll be including also releases. But that is that's PLA Boy's suppressor. Yeah, it uses like a cool fiberglass. I think it's like some sort of fiberglass.
Yeah, it uses fiberglass reinforcement, and it's printed PLA plus. But then it uses fiberglass reinforcement and a nut that will a metal nut that will thread onto your muzzle, and that way it protects it from heat. And they're actually up to 600 rounds of 308 through one of them in full auto.
Yep. I was going to mention the whole full auto part of it. It's also full auto rated, which is hilarious.
Yes, for a $20 suppressor.
Pretty much, yeah. And again, you get that baffle strike. Just fire up the old Ender 3, or I guess Bamboos now, and then you'll be fine. Theoretically speaking, of course. I mean, after you fill out your tax stamp.
After you fill out your paperwork.
Yes. Follow your local laws, everyone. Okay, but let's go into the first. The first beta of the year. Let's let you choose whichever one you think's the coolest.
Well, we're gonna go in chronological order here. So we've got the SYSTEMA by Nikolai Romanov. And that is a 7.62 rated suppressor. It is fully printed, it is flow through, and it's monolithic. And it's nice because it has a lot of reinforcement in it, where it's got through bolts, kind of like the old Hush Puppy, or Shush Puppy, I think it was called. And so it's rated for 7.62 by 3.9. They're working on it with 308. And so far, it has held up very well. Testing is ongoing. And also, as you can see here, which I'm hoping you can put up the picture, you can see the internal geometry. It's just really interesting how 3D printing allows for these complex internal shapes.
I see.
For suppressors.
Yeah, I see a cool threaded rod there. I'm guessing that probably helps with some of the rigidity too.
Yes, yeah, and well, each of those little flanges has a metal rod through it, so it's very strong. It's fully reinforced with steel. Then,
yeah,
so
you're pinching down the layer lines, and you're basically preventing any sort of layer separation. Helps a lot with the rigidity too.
Exactly.
So, how long has this beta been going on, and do we know how many rounds so far through them?
Oh, what do you see here? The beta actually started on January 3rd. So it started, right around when we filmed our year in review and everything. So, which was fun. It was fun. But, it has so far shot over 100 rounds. Let's see here on this one person's test. Yeah, they're just chugging along with it. I'm trying to find the person that has the highest round count.
One of my biggest regrets from SHOT Show, which, by the way, SHOT Show was fun. I did not talk to enough of the suppressor companies about 3D printed suppressors. I would have loved to hear their takes on it, because I'm curious to know what they do, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of you devs actually are from a suppressor company. But
I would love to see it. I'd love to see the industry adapt it more widely. Yeah, we're over 100 rounds of 7.62 so far. The beta has a few members. Obviously, it takes time to fill out your paperwork and everything and test everything correctly. So far, only Nikolai's been able to test it because, the ATF is slow with things like that. So I would suggest other people join and try to print this and really help get more attention out there for 3D printed suppressors, because the technology is groundbreaking for the purpose. You're able to accomplish things with an additive manufacturing that you just can't do with regular machining, at least not in any economically feasible way.
Right. I think, we've already said our piece several times on 3D print suppressors, I feel like, at this point.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, no, it's the nicest thing about them are they're so simple, and the worst thing with suppressors are baffle strikes. And when you have a 3D printed one, you have a baffle strike, you don't really have to send it to get RMA'd. You could always reprint it in theory. And unlike the other ones, you can find fuel can suppressors, those ones that people do Form 1s for. Or this one, you can just make out a PLA. You don't have to buy anything special from anywhere else. Just your typical filament and some, threaded rod.
Exactly. And that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes it neat, and that's what makes it very economically viable. For the average person.
I think now is, I guess we can go to the next one too. I'm not really sure what else we should add to this.
No, that's okay. It speaks for itself. So the next one is the Kurtgobang, which is by Pembie Industries. It's I should say it's PEMBIE 000 Industries, and that is a 3D printed shotgun shell. So it's a 12 gauge slug, it's saboted, and it actually will penetrate a thick phone book. It achieves lethal velocity. Unfortunately, Pembie was recently injured while hunting. His shotgun barrel was corroded and burst, so he is going to definitely need... Yeah, he's going to definitely need more beta testers, because I think he's probably going to take a bit of a break from shooting while his hand heals. But that had nothing to do with the round. It just had to do with a very poorly maintained old shotgun. Because I don't know if people realize this. Shotguns, especially when you're waterfowl hunting, they can rust. The barrels rust internally sometimes, and you can end up with weak spots.
Right, that's why always a fun little cleaning sponge, or the cleaning shells that come in play, which are awesome. I think those are the coolest things ever. You can just load a shell.
They're hilarious.
They're goofy, and I wonder how many people accidentally kill someone with it, because it says very specifically, this will still shoot this in the range. But
they just have those sitting on the shelves in Walmart, and I want to buy some.
I'm starting the recording again. I said something along the lines of... Sorry about that, everyone. We had a weird technical difficulties. Apparently, we just lost connection, so we're re-back here. Oh, and now I'm getting a phone call from someone else. Give me one quick second while I go quickly take care of that in a second. Wrong number. Okay, that's wonderful. So as I was saying, or I was rudely interrupted. Okay, so I was mentioning something about how I think I saw a 22 blank underneath inside, I guess for the primer.
Yeah, that's one of the really neat things that he's working on is, using a 22 blank as the primer. So that way, that's an easy way to make a primer. And also, I don't know if people realize this, there are ways to make DIY primers out of things like soda cans.
I was thinking, what are the cap guns too?
Yes, exactly.
I was going to ask this too then. So looks like it's PLA, and shotguns usually have wadding, right?
Correct.
Is it using wadding too for this?
Yeah, it's everything's really printed. That's the really interesting thing. He was able to get satisfactory results by using a sabot, and by using that sabot, it works as the wadding. And he made shotgun shells out of just wheel weights. The slugs out of just wheel weights. And since it's undersized the projectile is undersized, it allows a lot thicker walls. And since it's a sab it, it will still stabilize and it will print well and it will have adequate penetration because it's going to be going pretty darn fast. And so what this basically lets you do is have a viable self-defense or hunting round that is impossible to regulate. 12 gauge shotguns are super easy to super easy to build. The ammunition is where they get people.
Oh, right.
Without that barrier, this really makes it a global design.
Yeah,
so you've got... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I guess I don't want to stop that, but I was going to mention how, this is... I mean, we all know about the typical pipe shotgun, right? That's a very simple design. Yes. And now you can make your own shotgun shell with it. I'm assuming it's, what type of powder? Is this black powder? It
can be black powder. It can be the Albert 9x19 DIY powder. It can be repurposed blank powder. There's a bunch of different options. All of them are being tested. And so the idea of having completely DIY ammunition and making that ammunition impossible to control, that anyone in the world can make it, especially with something as simple as a pipe shotgun. I mean, this is Fallout levels of ingenuity here. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know I'm not a big reloader myself, but I heard shotguns are much more forgiving when it comes to reloading.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. The only thing that I reload is shotgun shells. I always wanted to get into rifle, but I just haven't.
Yeah, we've been told with shotgun shells, yes, it's still important. Don't do proof loads for everything, but you can get away with a lot more things that, with a handgun round or normal rifle round, you can basically create a massive explosion.
Yeah, well, one of the tests that he did was a 0.49 inch lead ball that it weighed 177 grains, which is a pretty good amount. And he was able to use full power loads in the shotgun shell, like full strength shells. And with that one, he was using 209 shotgun shell primers, which are super easy to get in the US. And he said that it just absolutely shreds gallons of water. So it's a pretty good sign for its terminal effectiveness.
I mean, I think that is DIY ammo is always kind of the biggest challenge with a lot of these things, and that now that we can pretty much, see this, I mean, it's a shotgun shell, which is, again, one of the easiest designs that you can kind of just make all on your own DIY-able. You don't even really need to 3D print it. Of course, we got, Jeff Rod's, Cafe 12. I don't think the Liberator's fully out yet still, but that one's out. You can also just go simply to Home Depot and just make your typical slam fire. Get a 2x4, cut a little bit of a hole in it, nail it down, tie it down, and congratulations, you got a pipe shotgun. And
I do think that. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, and now the only barrier you would have is just ammunition, and if you can just build this, well then, congratulations. Now you're done.
Exactly. And one thing that I would like to see, which we still haven't, is a very simple break action 12 gauge shotgun that's 3D printed. And I know there's some other ones. I think I know people have worked on it, but I don't understand why no one has made either a double barrel or a single barrel break action shotgun, especially when you have some pretty solid break action designs that were pioneered years ago.
Well, that's a fun one for the viewers to do. If you guys have any fun ideas or cool ideas, please do let us know.
Yes,
in the wonderful comments below, of course. I think really, this ammunition is fantastic. I like the idea of DIY ammo. The fact that this can almost be practically made anywhere else. You're just melting down fish weights basically.
Yes, exactly.
And everything's basically printed. Now you just need some powder and then a primer. Congratulations, you're pretty much ready to go. And you can get, these are nail gun blanks, pretty much, basically nail guns. And you can just get those if you can't get 22. So that's pretty cool, actually. I like this a lot. I'm curious to see where this one goes, but I guess let's go to the next one.
Okay, so this is our last one. It's the most recent, and it's pretty cool. It's the Hitchhiker by MattLaAtLaw, good old Fudbusters. His name on the catalog is MattLaAtLaw. And now this is really cool because he's been working on this for a while. And it's an incredibly cheap, single-shot, self-ejecting 22 rifle that is open bolt. And I don't know if anybody knows, but open bolt firearms more or less disappeared after 1982 when the ATF said that they were too easy, classified several of them as too easy to convert to machine guns. And this hit things and was designed to target things like the Mac 10, the Mac 11, the Tech 9, these sort of open bolt, very economical pistols that they were angry that people were using, and the old saying, filing off the sear, that's what they would do. They were just very easy to convert to full auto, allegedly. And I always thought that was a ridiculous ruling, but Matt went out and he actually designed a firearm that is impossible to make full auto because it is single shot, and it's very easy to load, and it is super lightweight, and it costs less than $100 to build.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one of my favorite videos from Matt was basically, I always just assumed every open bolt was pretty much illegal or classified as a machine gun.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the things that he was always kind of talking about was, no, that's not what it means. Yeah, actually, let me go. I have my my magical ATF ball that you can get from mafcorp.com. Let me go
I do
see.
have one of those.
I'm going to ask it right now. Is the Hitchhiker a machine gun? The result says, ask again in 6 months. So I guess we'll have to keep that for 6 months. Send me a reminder. But
okay, there we go.
But yeah, Matt's a really good dev too. He also did the Walther P99 or P99. He also helped Ivan with the Amigo Grande too. So Matt's done a lot of things too. He's not just a lawyer. I do. It looks really cool. I do want to give it a shot.
I think it looks neat. It looks like something Cobra would have made.
100%.
And if anyone knows anything about me, I love Cobra. They're one of my favorite gun companies. So, I'm so excited to see this. Actually, it is partially inspired by Cobra's whole thing.
Little barrel shroud.
At least, I shouldn't say, yes, well, definitely the barrel shroud, but Cobra themselves stuck it to the ATF back in the 80s by trying to make a Mac 10 that they just welded a plate over the magazine opening and had it full auto. And so they didn't even bother with the sear. And they're like, no, it's just a single shot pistol. But the ATF said that because it was like 2 spot welds holding the plate on and it still had a functioning magazine catch and everything, that it was way too easy to just pop that off and have a machine gun, which they absolutely intended it to be a troll. And so Matt took that spiritual idea and made something that is not going to be so easily frowned upon. And the other thing is that I just like 22 rifles. I think they're fun.
Well, I like the idea. So open bolts are usually much more simpler to make.
They are.
The big reason why we don't see as many of them here right now in the US is that, the whole machine gun thing, and it kind of people just get worried with that. And in all honesty, it's complicated. I'm not the best engineer, and I'm definitely not a lawyer, that's for sure. And I can probably guess this is a very, very simple build to do. And I've seen Matt already shoot a couple around, or about 10 rounds through. It's a single shot, so it's not like you're mag dumping this thing. But if you get faster at it, you can reload it pretty quickly. I think it's self-ejecting too, which is pretty nice.
It is. Yes.
So essentially, you have a couple, a fistful of 22s. You put one in, shoot it, flies right out, then you put another one, and have a fanny pack or something, or put in your pocket.
Yeah, well, that's the neat thing, too. It is called the Hitchhiker. I like the idea of using it as a hiking gun, honestly.
I like it, too.
Not so much maybe for hitchhiking, but it breaks down into 3 very simple pieces. It's a neat little rifle. I think it'd be fun to small game hunt with, but that's just the kind of stuff that I love. That's where we are at with it. The beta just started. Hit up Matt LaRosier, MattLaAtLaw, to join the beta. On the catalog, the deterrence dispensed rocket chat, and I'm really excited to see people paint this in fun colors.
Now, I did see, what is it? Matt is also, MAF, they're selling their fun hitchhiking chimes too. But
yes,
I was going to mention something because I'm looking at it right now. It looks like a retractable brace, or actually, that's a stock. No, am I kidding? It's 6 inches. That's a stock.
It is. Yes.
That is it. I'm guessing that's a normal metal cut, or kind of like the flux brace type of a thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's retractable. This thing's very compact. when you store it away.
Now,
And
I was going to ask you a couple other things too, of like the trigger and the barrel in particular, because is it a printed barrel?
no, it's just very thick. And I'm not entirely sure what the story is there. It looks to be just like a bull barrel.
I mean,
is what it appears to be. I'm going to be honest. I want to buy the kit, and then I can tell us more. But I don't believe that that's a printed barrel. No.
I believe it's a printed barrel shroud, but yeah, I don't think that's.
Oh, it's definitely a printed barrel shroud for sure.
I mean, if there's anything I know about open bolt, at least open bolt 22s, is that this is probably a extremely simple design to make.
It absolutely is.
And it's $100 to make, or at least under 100. I think this is totally something I might just pick up right now, is because it looks like a fun little neat thing to have, in all honesty. I'm
actually trying to find it right now on their site.
Well, let's see if we sell them out. If you guys leave a note when you buy it, be sure to tell them you figured it out from this channel too. Let them know.
Yes.
So I can get a possible kickback. Fingers crossed on that one. Probably not going to happen, but it's worth a shot nonetheless. But I will say, it does look really cool. It's definitely interesting. And what's more interesting about it is it's an open bolt. And you really just don't see those much.
No, you don't.
I kind of want to see more footage of it. Hell, I wouldn't mind testing it out myself, because that looks like it's just legitimately super easy to do. And if Matt's also selling a chime kit for it, then I can.
Yep.
That seems like an even easier thing to do. And last I checked, the chime kit wasn't that expensive either.
No, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a fun, cheap, economical build. I think that people are going to just have fun with it.
Oh well, actually, now I'm looking at it right now. It's there might not be a coupon code AGCast, but there is a coupon code PSR for 10% off. So if you do pay for it, be sure to let them know in the the additional comments who sent you, but be sure to use the PSR code too for your 10% off. I am taking a good look at the price. It's about $99, 10% off. That's about $90. Pretty good deal, but to each their own. There's also a polished trigger or not a polished trigger. Let me see how much the polished
which is $10. So you're getting a free polished trigger essentially.
It looks like, okay, so what it looks like to me is there's a barrel liner. The bolt is stupid simple.
Yeah, you know what? You are right. That is a barrel liner. So that is a printed barrel
shroud
essentially, which that's very interesting.
It's a very...
That means it's going to be light.
Oh, 100%. This looks like to be honest, I would say this is probably going to be a really fun first build for probably a lot of people too. I wonder if you can also scale this down to make it more compact too. Because
this would be a good one to actually scale up and make it into a 12 gauge.
Well, it's an open bolt, so I guess you can have an open bolt shotgun. That'd be interesting. I'm not 100% sure how that would go. But this is honestly a really cool design. I think what I like about the most is just its simplicity. And I guess, a big problem with some of these like fully DIY ones, some people don't want to deal with that. And I guess it's a nice thing that you can go buy a chimes kit with 10% off using coupon code /PSR.
That is true.
And with that chime kit, of course, you can also buy some patches from Aho Patchworks using coupon code /AGCast to, get another 10% off too. Or PSR is not the only one that has one of those. But with MAF, he is. Yeah, the spring looks very simple. This looks like a very, very simple design. Actually, I actually might pick one of these up just because this is honestly super easy. Hopefully by the time this is up,
buying one right now.
Buy two, one for me. Check it. I would say let's hope by the time this goes up and you're watching this, everyone, it won't be sold out. But I do wonder if they also have, if it's fully DIYable. This is also matte, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is fully DIYable. But it'll just be much easier to do. I can tell you right now, it's much easier to get the kit than it is to go everything fully DIY. But because it is a rather simple open bolt design, you can probably do it. Do you know if it's fully DIYable, or do you have to buy the MAF kit?
Just looking at it, it would be fully DIYable if you wanted to do it. I'm sure that for now, you probably should buy the MAF kit. I see no reason at all why someone couldn't make this. The only thing that might give people a little bit of trouble is the bolt, just because with an open bolt firearm, you have a milled bolt face where you have a fixed firing pin. That might cause some issues, but I don't know off the top of my head whether or not that would actually be able to be done. I don't know if it's going to have a recessed bolt face or a flat bolt face like the FGC9. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see and to try to. I'm sorry, I was hitting play or not pay. I was making sure that it went through because I'm that excited about it.
You heard it here.
I don't know if you're going to have a hard time milling out the bolt face is the problem. I would suggest, at least in this beginnings phase, trying to build it from the kit.
And you know what? Again, open bolts are always a fun one. I think this is going to be a really interesting one. I bet this one will probably... I'm curious to see how this one will go. We'll probably see when this is uploaded, and if it's sold out already, that'd be interesting. But
it is right now back ordered.
It is. Oh, wow.
It is back ordered.
Well, talk about that. All right, I think this one will be pretty big eventually. Just because, and I think they'll probably have a restock on this because, again, this seems to be a very simple design. But
yes,
I think that's a good stopping point right there. And, we can do our fun little conclusions. I guess this is going to be, it's good to be doing this another month. I will have to come up with a fun way of now categorizing year 1, year 2. I guess I'll have to put 2024 for this one right after everything. But
yes, that's a good plan.
But yeah, no, I guess one thing I really want to do this year around too is if you guys have any suggestions too, please do leave a comment below. That would also help us out a bit. We want to interact with you guys a little bit more. It was nice to see all of you that showed up for the year in review. So that interaction's pretty nice. When we do this, it's kind of just us doing it. We don't really know what you guys think until afterwards. So it's
I
nice.
love you.
Well, we all love you too, especially when you use coupon code /AGcast for Aho Patchworks as well. It's nice to be able to have some sort of feedback, to see kind of, what you guys want to see and sort of adapt to it. Like, the big thing we're going to try doing is, again, go over different releases also. I've also had people ask me, work with all, why don't you do the Aussie ones and the BLC or BLC. That would, again, if those guys want to reach out and, do something, by all means, let me know. But for right now, it's mostly going to be the catalog. And
yeah, absolutely.
I think we're at 21 minutes right now, and that's got split in half. This one might be under 40 minutes. So I guess we could probably, kill it right here. But absolute pleasure to talk to you again, Dr. Death.
Thank you so much. I had a ton of fun. Thank you for having me on again.
And I'll see you guys next month.
Bye.